Identifying themes in stories. Oh, hi there. My name's Mr. Urata. Today, we're going to be talking about identifying themes in a story. Say this with me. I can identify the theme of a story. Let's say it one more time. I can identify the theme of a story. Here are a few key points that I want you to ask yourself anytime you are reading a story. Does the main character change? Does the main character cause a positive or negative effect? If there's a positive result, then we need to be and or act like that character. If there's a negative result, we need to be and or act opposite of the character. Alright, let's take a look at this book. Here's Goldilocks and the Three Bears. In the story Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Goldilocks enters the bear's house without permission, breaks the bear's things, eats the bear's food, and sleeps in their bed. In the end, they angrily chase her away. Does the main character change? In the story, Goldilocks doesn't change. Does the main character cause a positive or negative effect? Well, Goldilocks enters the house without permission. She does all these really disrespectful things. And then, in the end of the story, Goldilocks gets chased by the bears. That's a negative effect. So, that means we need to not be like Goldilocks. Goldilocks shouldn't have gone into the bear's house without permission because that led her to do worse things and made the bears very angry. So there are a couple things that we could learn. Trespassing can get us into a lot of trouble, or disrespecting others may lead to disastrous results. Alright, let's move on to another story. You probably heard this one before as well. It's The Tortoise and the Hare. In the beginning of the story, Hare challenges Tortoise to a race. Hare thinks that he will win the race because he's faster than Tortoise. Tortoise accepts the challenge and is not worried about his speed. In arrogance, Hare takes a nap, thinking that he'll still be able to win. Tortoise is persistent and is focused on finishing the race. Hare's nap lasts too long, and Tortoise passes him. In the end, Tortoise wins the race. Alright, let's look at this from Hare's perspective, because there's actually two main characters in the story. There's Hare, and there's Tortoise. So, let's think about Hare's side of the story. We're going to identify the theme using Hare. Does the main character change? Does the main character cause a positive or negative effect? Pause the video now. When you're ready, press play. Okay, let's think about that first question. Does the main character change? Well, in the story, Hare is pretty arrogant throughout the entire story. So, to me, that tells me that Hare does not change. Does the main character cause a positive or negative effect? Well, Hare's arrogance causes him to lose the race against Tortoise because he ends up napping too long. Hare decides to take a nap before finishing the race. In the end, he loses the race against Tortoise. That means that Hare's arrogance caused him to lose sight of his true goals of winning the race. This story tells what we shouldn't do. A lesson that we can learn is arrogance can cause you to lose track of your goals. There are two main characters in this story. So this time, I want you to try and identify the theme using Tortoise. Remember that we need to ask ourselves these two questions. Does the main character change? Does the main character cause a positive or negative effect? And then think. If there's a positive effect, then we should be or act like the character. If there's a negative effect, then we shouldn't be or act like that character. Pause the video now, and when you're ready, press play. Alright, let's go ahead and answer the question, does the main character change? In the story, Tortoise does not make any change, so now all we need to ask ourselves is, does the main character cause a positive or negative effect? In the story, Tortoise wins the race through his perseverance. Tortoise accepts the race against Hare despite being slower. However, his persistence and focus allows him to win the race. This story tells us how we should be. A lesson we can learn is that persistence and focus will help us achieve our goals. It's been really fun hanging out with you and talking about stories. I hope that we can do this again sometime. Mr. Urata, out.